Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griefdrums and welcome back to another video of top 3 tips of the week. As the name suggests, this is a video series in which I break down 3 tips each week to hopefully help assist you in your game. If you want to get involved, please submit all of your tips and tricks to my Discord. Include pictures, videos, anything you have, and hopefully it'll make it into a future episode. The link will be down in the description below. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into tip number 1 for this week. Jackal's PDW has got the most insane hipfire you have ever seen in a game. I'm not even kidding. This thing is better than Maestro's friggin' LMG. People can hit things from across the map hip firing. This thing could probably do 2 or 3 maps. This is so broken, it's unreal. You go ahead and fit a flash hider to the PDW and a laser sight, and I am not kidding, you can hit people at stupid distances without even ADSing. Now, if you were tuned into my stream the other night, you will have seen me doing this for the memes and just messing around. But the reality is there is a bit of a reason why I'm sharing this tip today. There are certain situations on Siege in which you push into corridors or certain areas of maps in which it becomes quite close quarters. And as an attacker, you usually take an ACOG, or at least I certainly do. I find that an ACOG gives me that opportunity to create long lines of sight and have a bit of an advantage over the defenders. Inevitably, you will end up pushing into close quarter situations, and it's during these opportunities that having a weapon like this in which you can hip fire could become extremely beneficial. Now, in most situations, you are going to aim down sight. You're going to try and get the most accurate shot you can. But I'm not kidding. If you can hit terrorists from one side of bank to the other in a headshot from a hip fire, then surely this is going to come in beneficial when you push into somewhere like the cigar room on Cafe. Moving into a close quarters area and being able to keep all of your peripheral vision because you're not aiming down sights can be a massive advantage at times, which is often why defenders with a reflex sight will have more of an advantage over you in those situations. I cannot recommend this enough. Every now and then, you come across a loadout in which you try stuff out and you think, yeah, that's quite good fun, or, that could be a bit of a nice change. For example, running Bucks C8 and then out of nowhere running the DMR for a little bit. It can be a real welcome change. I personally like to mess around with my loadouts and my setup. I don't like to stick with the same one for an extended period of time, just purely because of the fact I find that every now and then when a new operation or a new DLC drops, there are slight changes. Whenever there's a patch, whether it be the recoil change or whatever, people get so stuck in their ways of, I have to run a compensator on Jaeger, for example. By messing around and changing stuff up, by trying an angled grip with a suppressor, sometimes you'll be pleasantly surprised and you'll stumble across a setup in which, a suppressor with an angled grip can be easily controlled. And then there are other occasions in which you categorically need a vertical grip if you're going to run a suppressor. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that's a bad example, don't ever run suppressors, but you'll notice that a lot of YouTubers are doing it, and whilst I'm moving away from tip number 1 now, just try different setups, see what works for you, don't just stick in your ways. Jackal PDW hip firing could be extremely beneficial, yet I know a lot of people refuse to take it because of the reduced damage. Try stuff out and be flexible. Let me know how you get on. For tip number 2, we are going to stick with the theme of Jackal, but this is more of a tip for Caveira. But it's not going to hurt knowing this information playing as Jackal. Now, the only reason I'm covering this is because the amount of people that I've spoken to over the past few weeks that weren't actually aware of it is unbelievable. I don't mean to criticize anyone, I thought it was common knowledge. And as it transpires, it's really not. So why not share this info? When Jackal scans somebody, no matter who it is, they will always have an initial ping show up. Exactly where they are, when they were stood there, when they got scanned. It will obviously tell Jackal who he has scanned, but the reason that Caveira is a hard counter to Jackal is because if her silent step is activated, you don't get that ping notification of whereabouts on the map she is. Now, a lot of you may say, yeah, that's great, but Caveira's silent step doesn't last that long, and Jackal's 5 pings go on for a hell of a lot longer. But what you can do is you can actually time it. As you can see here, every time Caveira is about to get pinged, she's turning on her silent step and activating it, which means that she doesn't get pinged. Then, as soon as that notification for Jackal has occurred, or not as the case may be, if you deactivate the silent step, you have got enough time to refill it
before the next ping. Essentially what you can do as Caveira is, as you're running around the map, you can continually keep timing this on and off so that you do not get pinged by Jackal. This can be so effective, especially if you've not been many places at the beginning of a round and you instantly get pinged by Jackal and spotted by him, because it affords you the opportunity of knowing roughly whereabouts on the map he is, and then you can close ground on him without anyone knowing you're coming. He's going to be questioning where the heck you are because there's no pings appearing, and potentially waiting for your silent step to run out so he gets the last 2 pings or 3 pings so he knows whereabouts you are. Unfortunately for him, if you're a Cav player that's utilising this tactic, he's never going to know. As I say, the only reason I'm including this is because not very many people seem to know it. I mentioned it on my live stream and there were a lot of people saying I never realised that. And then I questioned the guys that I was playing with and said, did you know about this? And they said no. Perhaps it's something that everyone did know and just forgot about it because they're not playing as much Jackal nowadays. I really don't know, but there you go. Tip number 2, you can hide as Caveira and you are a hard counter to Jackal, and this is why. Tip number 3 for today, and the final tip for this episode, is going to be a line of sight. This is particularly good for theme park when you are defending the drugs lab or potentially upstairs, although it's a lot less likely that you'll be able to use it if you're defending the bunks and daycare. But protecting the drug lab downstairs, a lot of people actually seem to enter through this barrel room just below, and by coming up to the bunks just up here and creating a line of sight exactly where I'm looking, you can control the window from above. Now this is one of those angles that you'll be surprised how many people actually try and push through here. And when they do, they're kind of limited because they need to look inside the barrel room at sort of normal height to see if there's anyone in there. A lot of people just completely forget to look directly above the window. This can be a really cheeky spot, and as I say, you'll be surprised at how many people enter through this window when defending this side of the map. But I'm a firm advocate of any time you can create a line of sight like this above a window, that person is going to be more preoccupied with looking into the room they're pushing into rather than directly up above them. The slight offset of this angle as well means that they're going to have to look up and right, which is just something that you very rarely do. I mean, how many times do you vault in through a window and look up at the ceiling to make sure that no one's looking down onto you? Even if you drone it out before you push in and there's no one there, the next time you go in and you try and push through that window, you're going to have to still check it because they may have just arrived in that position above. Either way, try this out. Hopefully it'll help you out in theme parks. I know a lot of people are really struggling with that map at the minute, so I may try and drop a few more theme park lines of sight and tips in there. Let me know down in the comments both the tip that you really liked the most from this week and also the maps that you dislike the most and that you struggle with. Not necessarily you just hate, but maps on the ranked playlist potentially that you would like to improve on and that you feel you could do with a few more tips on. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and fingers crossed these tips will help you in some way, shape or form. If you did, please consider smashing that thumbs up, and if you don't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for all things Rainbow Six. I'd love to see you over on my Twitch channel on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays, as we're currently still running the Azarus token giveaway, which will give you Rainbow Six credits if you can get 5 of them. And there's also some more big things coming on the channel real soon to do with that. You can also follow me on Twitter to stay current with everything that's going on with the channel, as well as my day-to-day antics. I post all sorts of crap over there. But anyway guys, have a good day, and until next time, stay reckless and relentless.